Good morning to all. I am Subramanian here as a assistant professor in mechanical engineering. In this session, we are going to see about the foundry castings. So, foundry casting is in this foundry casting we see about the how the metals has been melted and it has been solidified and taken for the required for our requirement itself. So, in this first the molten metal, we prepare the mold itself in a green sand mold. Since its name is a green sand mold, is a mold, the mud with the moisture content will be added here, and this molten metal will be poured into the mold itself. And after the solidification, the sand will be cracked off, and the castings after solidification get the required castings. So first we see about the casting process itself. So in this casting process, the molten metal has been poured into the mold itself, and after the molten metal is poured into the mold cavity, which has been previously designed in the desired shapes, and it will be allowed to solidify it for a while. After solidification, the metal will be broken down, and finally we get the required castings after the metal has been solidified here. So the basic operations of the casting is first we must make the pattern making, and next the metal has to be melted, and the melted metal has been poured into the mold which has been previously confirmed that, and it has been cooled for a while to have the desired shapes. So in this one, here we see the single piece pattern itself. So in this single piece pattern, a pattern will be placed. Here there's two boxes, cope box and drag box. First, the drag box will be kept in the upside down, and in the upside down, the pattern will be kept. Pattern made up of wood or brass or aluminum will be kept upside down on the floors, on the molding board, and the mud will be poured inside the boxes. Inside the boxes, it will be rammed to have a hard mold itself. Then the drag box will be turned upside down, which will be in this format itself. On top of that, we'll be keeping the cope box. In this cope box, again the sand will be poured there. Loose sand, that is the green, the green sand, which is the sand with the moisture will be poured. And here will be placed two runners. That is one is for pouring the metal. The other one is if the metal has been filled in the cavity, it has to be raised with that. Both the runner raises will be placed here. Then after sand has been poured, it will be removed. The cope box will be removed such that to remove the pattern itself. So this single piece pattern is removed, and this will be made as a cavity itself. And if the cavity is there, when the metal has been molten metal has been poured into the cavity, it will be filled in the cavity, and it will be allowed for solidification for a number of hours, for 2 or 3 couple of hours. Then the cope box and the drag box will be removed, where the mud will be broken down, will be getting the castings to a required shape. So this art of the pattern materials, here you can see about it will be made up of wood or else metals such as brass or aluminium. These are metals, brass, or aluminium, and next also plastics, and sometimes very rarely is gypsum. And these are also single piece patterns. This is a 2-piece pattern itself, and these are types of the patterns here. So here another thing you say is, if the pattern has been poured, it means on solidification it will be having some shrinkage allowance will be there. There will be some shrinkage allowances or machining allowances, draft allowance, and shake allowance, and discharge allowance. These allowances will be given previously to have a perfect mold itself, perfect casting itself. Next we see about the types of the patterns. So types of patterns here, so far experience about the single piece pattern, but here number of piece patterns, 2-piece pattern, or this is a single piece of pattern, and this is a gated pattern. So that here in this one metal motor was poured means it will be having some gates will be there, such that similar pieces, similar parts will be casting will be done for solidified in the same time itself, and there will be a run piece pattern, as well as the another pattern will be there. There's a 2-piece patterns or 3-piece patterns will be placed. It sometimes rarely placed with the core also. So match piece pattern also will be produced here. And here we see about the mold preparation itself. In this mold preparation, first is the green sand mold. Green sand mold means it's a composed of the sand, clay, and water itself. So this will be used specifically sand, and some clay and water will be added to the mixture, and this has been rammed perfectly, kept for a while to have a dry sand mold also, and also after 1 to 2% of the seed flow it will be added to it, such that to have a perfect matches. And materials used for the preparation of molds and silica sand or binder additives, and water will be added there. So here the properties of the molding sand will be permeability, strength or cohesiveness, refractiveness, and plasticity or flowability, collapsibility, and adhesiveness, and coefficient of the expansion. And this is the difference of the castings process itself. So there will be advantages and disadvantages on the examples of the process itself. So there will be sand molding or shell molding, expandable molding, plaster molds, ceramic molds. In all this, to our requirements, whichever part is needed for us will be used by the process, and there will be some advantages and disadvantages of that in all the process. Okay, with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you for listening for the session.